Good afternoon to you. Welcome to today's proceedings of the National Assembly. This being the 3rd day of December 2019. This afternoon, the member for Bori constituency, Honorable Ndikiri Mugambi, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development addressing complaints lodged by the public, and this is for a written reply. The member for Embakasi Central Constituency, Honorable Benjamin Mwangi, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning to confirm the current status of ownership of 5-acre piece of land known as LR number Block 156/1 allotted by Housing Finance Group in Komarok Ward in Embakasi Central Constituency, earmarked for a public school. And when will the piece of land be released to the Ministry of Education to enable publishing of registry index map and lease prepared for school construction to commence? This question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Land. If you're just joining us, these are live pictures from the National Assembly chambers. We're waiting for the business of the day to commence. This broadcast is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. The broadcast is available on Bunge TV, KBC Channel 1, as well as YouTube. Speaker Justin Muturi is walking into the chambers to oversee business of the afternoon. The Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 81 of 2019,
we may commence.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Member for Cherangani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to table public petition regarding the gazettement of Kabolet land, error number 1288. Of Article 63 of the Constitution, Community Land, the Kenya Forest Service established its own offices on the disputed land, planted exotic trees, and imposed rent on the resident, including public utilities like schools within the said area. That attempt by the community to engage the county government, the Kenya Forest Service, and the Ministry of Lands on the matter have been unsuccessful. That the matter in respect of which this petition is made is not binding in any court of law, constitutional or legal body. Therefore, your humble petitioner's prayer that the National Assembly, through the Departmental Committee of Environment and Natural Resources, investigate and inquires into all matters raised in this petition. And 2, Mr. Speaker, recommends that pursuant to the provision of Section 34 of the Forest Conservation and Management Act 2016, the responsible Cabinet Secretary initiate a process of degazetting 1,154.43 acres of Kabolet land, LR number 12886, being the balance of land allocated to the Sengwer community in 1997, with a view of registering it as a community land and availing it for settlement of the community. And your petitioners will ever pray. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I can see the member for Endebess wants to say something.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the petition by the member for Cherangany, Honorable Joshua Kutuny, on the issue of the Sengwer, also called the Cherangani people. Honorable Speaker, the Sengwer have lived in the Kabolet forest for generations. The Sengwer are on the other side of Mount Elgon. We have the Ndorobos who have also lived in Jepkitale. These are lands that are considered to be trust lands by the communities. This is where they have lived. In Jepkitale, it's a moorland where we had the Ndorobos living for all the generations. They even have their graves there, just like the Sengwer in Cherangany, in Kabolet. So, Honorable Speaker, I think this is a very timely petition, although they have stayed there for a long time, that the government was supposed to have degazetted in 1997. We now have a new constitution, but I think for the Sengwer people, they should have a fair share, a fair hearing on this matter. The other day, they even worked for their recognition, all the way from Cherangani to Nairobi and to Mombasa, seeking for recognition and being restored in the ancestral land. So I think this is a very timely prayer that the committee should move with speed and have it looked into. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Kadri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also do rise to support the petition by a member for Cherangany, the Honorable Kutuny. Mr. Speaker, we have similar problems in Bungoma, where also we have issues with the degazettement of land from Mount Elgon Forest, and more particularly, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the provisions of Article 63 of the Constitution, where community and communal land is properly provided for, that the people of Mount Elgon who lived in moorland in Jepkitale, Mr. Speaker, where forest cannot grow, where you cannot do any kind of farming, it's just grassland, and the trees you find there are only shrubs, Mr. Speaker. And they have lived there forever, since time immemorial. It is important that as this petition is considered, those ones that live in Mount Elgon should also be considered, and I know that this is a specific, particular petition, Mr. Speaker, but findings by your direction of the committee should also look at the other parts of the country where there are problems of a similar nature. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Ndaragwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I start to support that petition by the member of Cherangani. That, Mr. Speaker, I filed a similar petition from the people of Daragwa, on behalf of the people of Daragwa. And I think it is important to note that there are many, many parcels of lands in this country which are still within the forest area, but which have since been developed. And they've been developed